Today's video is a guitar that for a lot of us is unobtainable. It's something you just can't get relatively easy. The specifications on this guitar are highly suspect, too good to be true, and we'll go through that for sure. So if I seem like I'm approaching this video a little bit more skeptical than others, I am. This one in particular was really interesting to me because this is a baritone guitar. This is a 30-inch scale baritone guitar. A guitar typically is going to have a lower interest from the guitar community than a standard style guitar. However, this guitar is a mahogany body, maple neck, stainless steel frets, bone nut for $179. As of filming this video, it's $180. So for $180, this is anyone can get into a baritone guitar and see if this is the world that you are curious about, interested in. So let's get into the geeky stuff and see how good this thing really is. As you know, we do these videos over a period of 30 days. This one was a little longer than 30 days, just because I wanted to see how it reacted with this tension. The setup they gave it has the neck with almost no relief in it, so it's dead straight, which is really cool. The action is 2.25 millimeters off the low E, 2 millimeters off the high E, and then it's averaging about 2.25 across. So 2.25 millimeters. So I know some of you guys are a little high. I would think that's where you'd want it. I would think that would be perfect. Let's check the frets. Now, sometimes we play the frets and sometimes we use a fret rocker. On an instrument like this, I want to use a fret rocker. I want to actually see if there's any problems just because, like I said, it's a bass. Okay, so we have a light rock here, so that fret's a little high. We'll check to see if that affects the note. That one spot, and when playing it, no buzzing. So frets can be just a little off, but these seem pretty good. Really nice. And we talked about this before. Usually you want to do that in everything in the playing position. I generally do all my setups in the playing position, but obviously for video purposes, it's a lot easier to do it on the bench. Let's go ahead and do the sock test. All right, so let's go ahead and do the treble side. Wow, that's a 5 out of 5. Bass side. 5 out of 5. Let's go ahead and do the bridge. And again, this is really interesting. I mean, there's no high screws right there, so really good. Feels like it caught right there. Let's check that again. No, that's good. I mean, that's impressive. I've gotten so many of these Firefly guitars and I've had so many viewers go through them. There are going to be ones that are hit or miss. It's just a factor of this. It's just seeing what we could catch here when we're doing this. Let's go ahead and do some measurements on this. Okay. Looking at the nut, we are at 42.04, which is 1.655. Looking at the 12th fret, we are at 2.053 or 52.25 millimeters. Looking at the frets, we have the width at 2.70 or 0.106. And looking at the fret height, we are at 0.038 or 0.96 millimeters, which makes these jumbo frets. Let's go ahead and look at the depth. Looking at the first fret, 19.14 millimeters or 0.753. And at the 12th fret, 0.791 or 20.12 millimeters. So relatively thin neck, not super thin, but very comfortable. The fretboard edge is not rolled, but it is not harsh or sharp, but it's not rolled at all. Okay. The nut is a bone nut and it's cut really well. I mean, again, put together really well. Now, part of this should, so you understand, is these are made in China, but I was told that when they were landing here in the States, they're going through and setting them up and checking everything, kind of like how Schecter does on guitars and stuff, and PRS does when they get their imports in. And that's what comes across here. Let's go ahead and look inside and check things out. First thing we'll do is we'll look inside the electronics cavity. A couple things to note. I took the neck off. You don't have to take the neck off to get into the electronics. I just want to take the neck off to confirm the body is mahogany. It looks mahogany. It could be sapele or you know, a ton of other mahogany-esque woods, but that definitely looked like mahogany, so that's what it's doing. Looking inside, a couple things. They have shielded the cavity. That's impressive. I mean, $178. They have the time to shield this, and it's pretty good. I mean, there's no gaps or anything. Everything's touching. They have shielding foil here on the pickguard. We have two 500K potentiometers. They're not labeled with what brand. They look like, you know, basic potentiometers. You have a capacitor here for the tone control, and then have an output jack, which is a very inexpensive output jack. That's probably going to be the first fail point, is this jack, but that's a very inexpensive fix. Something to point out was this pickup was not working when it arrived. So right now when I was checking the electronics, this came with one pickup not working. Okay, so we have a problem. This pickup is not working. So when we are in this position, when this goes up, no pickup. Down here we have sound, and here we only have this pickup sound. Let's go ahead and diagnose it. The important thing to understand is that you can do that without taking anything apart. The other thing to understand is that most of the time, I'd say 75% of the time, the switch is the problem when it comes to bad electronics. But what we want to do, since we know this pickup is working, we're going to assume that all these electronics are working because it's getting signal out to the amp. We're going to assume that either the switch is defective or this pickup's defective. So what we're going to do is use our multimeter to test. You're going to set it to 20K, and you're going to use your two probes. And since we know this pickup's working, set the selector switch to this pickup. Go ahead, you don't have to disconnect anything. Just put your probe on the hot on that pickup, and then anywhere there's ground. Look at that, okay? So that pickup is working. Now we go ahead and put it on this wire. Okay, select. It's very important that you select the pickup, because if you select both, obviously there'll be a bleed through. Go ahead, we're touching the probe onto this pickup now. Go ahead. Nothing. Okay, so we know the switch is working. So let's take a look. So everything looks fine here. This is the coil split. Let's go ahead and take this apart. And there you go, there's our culprit. Look at that. So if you can't see, these aren't connected. So my guess is they probably twisted them and didn't solder them. This would also be your coil split if there was a coil split option on this instrument. Go ahead and twist this together. We don't have to solder anything yet. Let's go ahead on that. There we go. So now this pickup works. Get used to using a multimeter. It will save you so much time instead of just wiggling and checking things. Do your visual, then use your multimeter. As always, if you learned something or had some fun, consider liking and subscribing. We have some unmarked pickups. One says N, one says B, neck and bridge, basic stuff. They're using a better switch, not using the box switch. I like these switches much better. They're easier to fix and clean, and they last a little longer. Lots of debris from, you know, the factory, but we'll get all that out of there. So something we see pretty common. So overall, again, pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and check these electronics. By the way, this is a volume and tone control. Let's check these pickups. Let's see what they put in here. So looking at the pickups, we have the bridge at 14.31K. So obviously this has a lot of windings on it. My guess is there's probably a ceramic magnet underneath there. Let's check the inductance, and 5.25. So again, with the inductance and that resistance, it leads me to believe that this is an aggressive pickup. Looking at the neck position, now you have something again in that PAF territory, 8.44, with the inductance sitting at 3.62. So again, this is going to have a very JB Jazz vibe to it. That's what I would say. But my guess is there's ceramic magnets in those pickups. That's my guess because they don't really give me specifications. Nothing wrong with that. It just means it's going to be a little punchy sounding, which is good. And maybe have some clarity. Okay, so let's go ahead and check the radius of the fretboard. I'm going to start with something as simple as a 12-inch radius. Let's just check the neck since we have it off. Nope, it's flatter than that. 14, flatter than that. 20. Wow, 20-inch radius. I'd say it's a little rounder than that. Go to 16. That's crazy. So I would say between 16-inch and 20-inch radius, so very flat. The fretboard is extremely flat. So it wasn't as flat as 20-inch, but it was not as round as 16. So that tells you. Interesting. Interesting. By the way, there's polyurethane over the neck. The fretboard is polyurethane, but they didn't spray it over the frets like how Fender does, which I like this way better. So this is polyurethane on the front, the back, the sides. Everything's nicely done. Cool little skunk stripe. There's the Made in China sticker, the Firefly sticker. And these has non-locking standard tuning keys. Let's go ahead and put this neck back on. A couple things we're noting. This is a string through body. The furls look pretty nice. Like I said, you have this polyurethane neck. You have a skunk stripe. You have standard tuning keys. These are non-locking, very basic tuning keys. And everything feels really nice and put together really well. Another cool thing is it comes in 2 different colors. So it comes in sunburst and white. And if you get sunburst, you get the dark fretboard. And if you get white, you get the light fretboard. The white is like an Olympic white, so it's very bright. It's not an off-white. And both come with 24 frets. So in this review so far, the only negative is it came with a broken pickup. And I understand that if you don't do any work on guitars, that would be a really, really big problem. And just based on that, if you decided not to buy this instrument, I could totally understand, because who wants an instrument that shows up not working? But if you watch this channel, you learn to fix things like that. And if you're interested in buying inexpensive instruments and learning how to fix them, hopefully you'll learn a thing or two and you can make your own instruments better. But like I always say, none of that matters if it doesn't play good and sound good. So let's go into the studio and I'll demo it for you and we'll see how it plays and sounds. So I know I said I was going to play this instrument, but instead I have Dovydos from the Dovydos channel. 1.8 million subscribers. I'm sure you're already subscribed, but if not, please click the link down below and check it out.
Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome. Dovy is in town, and I thought, you know, we should utilize his talents for this. Couple questions.
Yes.
You ever played a baritone before?
Well, I play a 27-inch scale 7-string, so it's kind of a baritone, but not really. So it's like a 7-string, but now I don't have the high E.
So this is a 30-inch.
Oh, this is even longer.
Yes, so this is a 30-inch, and yes, you don't. Yeah, so you don't have the high E. You would your B to B.
All right, never mind. I've never played a baritone before.
Yeah. So we're gonna have you not only play some stuff so people can hear how it sounds.
Okay. Get
your reaction on that.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna give you some specifications on it, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with the neck pickup. We're running clean right now. We're running through a Fender Princeton clean. So let's go ahead and.
That is so fat.
No, it's kind of like playing a bass, right?
Yeah, like a 6-string. No, but yeah, you're right. It's like in between.
So let's go ahead and let's do the middle position. See how they blend out together. Okay, let's do the bridge pickup.
That is so strange.
Yeah, it's a workout, right?
It's bizarre. It's interesting. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. Hit some overdrive. We're gonna use a little overdrive pedal.
Okay.
And
I'm so not used to it. Yeah.
And I would normally say we could do a high gain thing, but to me, although you could definitely, because I mean, obviously the guitar player in Slipknot uses a jazz master style guitar.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely use this for gent and stuff.
Like very heavy riffs.
Yeah. Thoughts on how it feels, plays, scale length, first impressions.
Fat strings immediately, and then you know how you like on the regular guitar or whatever guitar you're like most used to playing, you want to like not a lot of bending happening. Way more force needed.
Yeah.
Like the same level of force, I would already be here, you know, but. Yeah, that's like bass territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And then, because like when I play guitar, I sing or like write songs, right? So this is immediately all of the chord shapes are the same. Yeah, like if like you have a habit of playing something in open G. So much lower, yeah. Yeah.
Not only does he not know what this is,
I
didn't even tell him until I hit record what we were even doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was in the corner. He didn't know we were doing something else. I wanted to not only have him do the sound samples because that way we can hear how the guitar sounds, but also get a first impression. So here's the thing. This is $189.
No!
Yeah.
You see, like, so what makes me think that this is going to be expensive is the block inlays and the binding around the neck.
Yeah.
That's it. And then, wow. I guess it's a triple ply pickguard.
Yeah.
And then why would like a baritone be so, like inexpensive, so affordable?
$200. You try it. Do you like this? Do you not like this? You can give it a try. You know, it's like your first banjo, like my first banjo kind of guitar and first odd kind of, just how, get those things down. You can't buy a Deering banjo to try it out.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
And same thing with this. You can't buy a nice Fender or some kind of expensive, even a nice Schecter baritone are expensive.
Let me try a banjo run on this.
That sounds great.
Thanks.
As a songwriter concept, anything that sparks to you that's fun?
All the simple stuff that you would have heard on a regular tuned guitar a million times, you do the same thing here, it's immediately more interesting now. Let me add some reverb.
Because I like to call these kind of guitars gateway guitars. A lot of times when we talk $200 guitars, we're talking beginner guitars. Like here's how you get into guitar.
For sure.
But what people don't understand is that you're not just a beginner of guitar. You're a beginner of a baritone guitar, of a 12-string guitar. You're a beginner of a bass guitar. You're a beginner of, right? So you need instruments that make that next step, especially if you're curious, right? Where can you take something different? Can you, like I said, getting your first 12-string, we like it, we hate it.
Yeah.
Baritone, we like it or hate it. I like this way more than I thought, and what I mean, I liked it, not the brand and the guitar. It is very good for the price, but I'm not a baritone guy.
Right, same.
And I can tell you right now, if I bought a baritone that was not expensive, but even little pricey, it eventually would just get sold off because I wouldn't use it. But this could sit, this could rot in a guitar stand until you need it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You got a looper too. There's a ditto there. That's how we got to end it. That was just too cool. So I want to thank Dovey for hanging out and doing this section of the video.
Thank you, Phil.
I'm now, because you're the second person to do this, right? I want to call, what do you call that? Like a celebrity drop-in, right? That's what this is. A celebrity drop-in. It's like, who's the celebrity guest drop-in? Like, you never know when it's going to happen, right? All of a sudden in the video, somebody's here. You didn't expect it. We got to hear Dovey. We got to hear his opinions, and we got to hear this awesome baritone guitar. I think he's covered it. We've covered it. As always, guys, I want to thank you for making it to the end of the video. And to the next time, know your gear.
Oh, it delays through there. I would do drums, I would do like bass.